Hi, I'm Matt from hockeyreviews.ca, and this is the true, I'm going to call them Gen 2 or next generation skates. So these are the updated ones for 2019. This will be kind of an unboxing video going over some of the things that they changed and comparing it to the previous version trues, which are my goalie skates. So I'm not going to do a weight comparison because these aren't really fair side by side. And like weight stuff will be, I'll try to actually measure weights of this one compared to competitors for the actual review. Because I've only worn these once, I'm just going to go over some things I've noticed about them, some things that are different, stuff like that. So it's more of a comparison review. It's not an actual usage review. So with that said, I'll get this one out of the way for the time being. And we'll take a look at the box and the skates themselves. So one thing that True has done, has done really well, and it kind of started it, is the really nice unboxing, kind of the initial impressions with the skate. So they did this, and then Bauer and CCM now have their own kind of boxes for their custom skates. But True had it for quite a while. So you open it up, it spins around, says performance, comes with a bag, comes with extra steel, which we'll show in a second. Comes with a letter of authenticity and about baking. So the baking is actually the old, I think, method of baking and not their new updated method, which is where they wrap like saran wrap or something around your heel to really lock it in. So that's the box. It is pretty nice. I'll give them props for that. It is huge, but I mean, it gets the point across and it looks pretty good doing it. So we'll put those away for the time being. Okay. So, and let's get into the skate itself. So I did mention it comes with the new steel. So this is their new shift holder. It is to compete against Bauer's Edge trigger and CCM's new XS holders. So this is a quick release where you put something through here, pull back, pull the blade out. I can't do it with my fingers. I'm sure someone could. It's very tough. You are supposed to use a tool with this. It doesn't come with a tool, but it's like a pen or like a Allen key or something can fit in there and you pull it out. When I got these, I found them pretty hard to take out. And every pair of these we've had, it's kind of hard to take out. Bauer system's a little bit easier. CCM system's easier. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure using it more, I'll get used to it. And but yeah, the interesting thing about this holder is it's symmetrical, which is this holder is the biggest change I would say on these skates is this new holder. As you can see, it's symmetrical, which means it doesn't have, okay, I can show this one next to it. It doesn't go differently on a right and left skate. Purpose for that is now stores don't have to carry twice as many holders, like order the left and right ones in pairs. They can just carry one and that's it. I don't know what the performance difference will be with this. It seems to line up pretty good and pretty straight, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if they changed the boot to work with that or they just, anyway, it's pretty interesting design. I've worn them once, but it was only because I'm still injured. It was only for just skating around. So I haven't really got to dive into these yet. I did buy LS5 steel for this, and I bought Bauer tuck holders. I might put on if I don't like this steel. We'll see in the future. Or if I don't like this holder, want to try it, we'll see that in the future, but that's down the path, in the future, sorry. So the interesting thing about this holder is this is where they kind of lost most of the weight in the skate. And this is kind of one of my criticisms about this skate. So the holder is, I believe, taller than the old one. But it gives you a bit more max height. But what they did for weight savings was reduce the height of the steel. So now I don't have the player ones. I have the goalie ones. So the steel is very odd looking. You can see the huge toe in the back where it's not kind of rounded. The player steel is taller than this all the way through. Maybe not here, but it's like tall all the way through. And bigger the steel, the more height it adds, right? So this is step steel for Speedblade 4.0s. It's very tall, as you can see. And as you match them up right there, you get an idea of how much taller this is. Their big weight savings is in this steel because steel is heavy and steel is not light. So when they say I think they're advertising 1.5 pounds of weight savings per skate. My theory is most of it is coming in the steel, which is why you get like why this steel is so small and why you get an extra set right here. Again, that extra set is because it's smaller and you're getting less steel, and I like, at least they're doing something good for the customer there, because I'm pretty disappointed that this isn't taller, to be totally honest. But it is nice that they did include this, so you should theoretically still get the same life out of the steel. But I sort of disagree, because once you start really going down on this, you'll hit the edges faster when you're kind of going for an angle and like turning on an angle, and when you're sharpening. So you'll really be down to the very holder sooner on both of these than you would just one, if that makes sense. Regardless, another big change to this skate is the carbon fiber in it. So I can't remember how much weight they said they lost by like just the boot itself. And there's someone on Mod Squad, I think his name is Nicholas G. He goes over some weight comparisons of just the boot itself and not the holder, which is a fair comparison to see how like the weight actual savings. But hopefully this comes up on camera. You can see the difference in the weaves, where the old one was a much tighter weave and the new one's kind of wider or bigger strands. So that is one spot of new, or something that new that they did for weight savings, is a new version or new carbon fiber weave. And the other part too is getting rid of this plastic backplate. Never understood why this was here. I think it was only put on the ones with the actual step holders and not the, so if you got a CCM holder or graph holder or bower holder, they wouldn't put this piece on, but they did for the true ones. So they took that off too, as you can see. Holding these side by side, the new ones are definitely much lighter than my goalie ones, but the goalie ones do have built extra impact side protection. I put that in there. I didn't put it on these ones because I'll be wearing shop lockers anyways. So it's not a fair comparison anyways, because that weighs I think 150 grams per skate or 100 grams extra per skate. So the next thing about this is the new tongue. So this is, I think, their Pro tongue. I can't remember the exact wordage of it, but it is, so it's still Velcroed in. But yeah, as you can see, much thinner, no more felt, wraps your foot. It's much more kind of curved. It feels stiffer to me too. So like that, especially like right down here, feels stiffer right in there than the old felt ones, as much as you wanted it to. I just decided to go to a thinner profile tongue. One of the reasons is because I have depth issues in most skates, and this one I'm kind of right at the end too. I don't really have to tie these skates when I wear them, to be honest. They fit that snug, but I kind of wanted to try the new tongue out. I like trying new things if it wasn't obvious. So this tongue is that interesting material they use to actually Velcro it in. It's kind of the shiny, it's like almost like Gen Pro from like goalie pads, but it's slightly different. I'm curious how it holds up. Should be pretty good. I've seen it before. Oh yeah, so it's on the old tongue, as you can see in the middle part right there. One nice thing, and this is a really funny thing, these laces actually work now. On every like true skates I saw when they first came out, the laces were always too small and totally useless, so you had to swap them out. That's why these ones have gray laces. But yeah, it's nice that the laces actually fit properly now. It's the small things. And speaking of the small things, let's grab my other skate just so I can go over some things here. Once again, I think True makes a very interesting product, and what I mean by that is these skates mold better than any other skate on the market. You heat them up and they like fold down. They're pretty impressive. I'll have a video coming out of me baking these and putting them on my feet and doing the saran wrap and everything like that. But I do have a video of how moldable they are, and I'll put that in the description at the end of the video, where the top basically just folds down. It's so soft. So True is a very interesting skate in terms of that. They're unlike anything else. As you can see how deep this cuts into my ankle bone and everything, it really forms your foot. I still think these are awful. These have awful quality control, and I think it's kind of disappointing in that sense, because there's a bunch of things about these skates that I don't like, and I think they could do better, but I feel like they really don't. And I don't know if it's that they don't care, or they don't have, or they found their market and no one's really competing with it, but I mean, it is what it is. So the same kind of issue with the liner splitting is still on the new skates. There is a new liner option I didn't get. I got the stock one, so it's like a beige one. So hopefully it's on camera. So right here, you're like, basically the liner's pulling off. It still exists on these ones. It doesn't happen as much on player skates because you do have that tenon guard that kind of attaches here, but there still is the loose plastics everywhere you can pull out. So it's like when you layer these, there's like plastic in between it. So hopefully this comes out on camera. You can see it like right in here. That's annoying to me. Another thing that's really annoying to me is you can see the leather here is worn out, and I've like this came out of the box like that. Like stuff like that, you won't really see much on the other big skate companies or other skate companies here because there's not really any small ones. Like they kind of do better quality control than that, and it's kind of frustrating. Again, these are small things, but when you're spending $1,000 on a pair of skates, you kind of hope like you don't get that, and you hope they're a little bit better and they're kind of like perfect. Another thing is that you can see the little holes right here, or not holes, but little circle dots. So I'm not sure if this was the original markings for the eyelets or what. I know when I tried to put these on, I had to rebake them and pull the eyelets out a lot because I couldn't get the actual laces through here when it was on my foot, because they feel like they're really deep into the actual like skate here. So I really have to dig down because my foot comes out so far and the tongue is kind of just sitting like right there. So I have to really dig and push. So I'm not sure if these were supposed to be out here or not, but you can kind of, I don't know, the real different didn't measure or anything, but I didn't really have problems with these ones. But again, goalie skates are kind of made slightly differently. So stuff like that is kind of disconcerting. The other thing is, so they still have like a rivet on the back, and I mean there has to be a better way to attach this tenon guard than a rivet. I've seen a bunch of these come back, and True says if this ever pops off, it's because of user error and they're using the tenon guard to take the skate off. I can't say that's true or not because I haven't talked to everyone who does it, but I've seen enough to pop off that like I feel like there should be another solution to this tenon guard than this rivet. They're the only company I believe that does that rivet, and I feel like there's another solution they could do there, and they're just kind of not. The other thing that really bums me out is there's no like protection here for wear. My goalie ones have a bit of wear there, and this will only get worse. But I mean, these are 2 seasons or 3 or 4 seasons through now. I'd say about 2 seasons through now, so they're like holding up. It's just it's frustrating when other companies have that and it's a simple fix and they don't do it. So it kind of comes here too. It's really easy to put like a little piece of leather like this on the inside just so where that tongue rubs. The other thing is there's no comfort edges. So if this was like Bauer and CCM have like a piece of soft foam kind of cut out right here. I should have brought one of my skates in to show, but it's a soft foam kind of cut out here. So when you lean the corners, like it's softer on your ankles. I find with these skates, because they wrap so well and you can see how like tight they wrap, I definitely feel it more on my ankles than I do other skates. So that's kind of disappointing there too. So yeah, the other thing, when I wore these really quickly, I wore 1 foot FT2, 1 foot True. I felt the FT2s felt lighter on my foot, even though I haven't actually weighed them next to each other. And people have done weight comparisons. It's just if the FT2 felt much lighter on my foot, but the Trues were so much more comfortable that I'm sticking with the Trues. I'm definitely going through the Trues. So one of the interesting things about these skates too is how they're customizable footbed. So they have a footbed inside them. You can see it hopefully on this. Hopefully it'll be light enough. So it's a blue footbed. I'm not going to take it out. It's honestly a huge pain. But they also have these reds in there too. So it goes red, blue, and then obviously you put them in the skate itself. And that's it. So I took the reds out of the skate because I had like my depth was kind of at the end. These are super thin, so I'm not really sure how big of a difference that will make, but that's one of the true things True recommends when you're fitting these skates and when people are like trying to adjust them for complete comfort is to take these out if they're having like issues on the arch or if they're having a bit of depth. So I took those out and we'll see how those are in the future. Next thing is I asked these skates to be half a size big. So I could fit in an 8 if I really, really tried. And I'm trying to see what the difference here is. So I could fit in an 8 if I really, really tried. But I don't like to go into an 8 because going into an 8, my toes are kind of always jammed up against the end when I'm not skating hard and stuff like that. So it's kind of annoying to me. So I like to go 8.5, and I like to go 8.5 just so my toes have a little bit more room. Now, I think these are two 80 holders, but they're not written on there and I can't remember off the top of my head. These are 272s. So I think I got an 8, but I can't, again, don't quote me on that. I can't remember. And these don't say like what size you got. When I put these on, my toes were all in like this, and that's kind of uncomfortable. And when I'm just gliding around, it's uncomfortable. When you're skating, it's totally fine. That's the proper fit, but I wanted a little bit more room. So what True does is usually they put a piece of red foam. So for mine, when I asked for a bit of room on the toe, they just took out the black foam and it only has the red foam. So that's kind of annoying, and it's kind of annoying because I took this red foam out, but I possibly want a little bit more room in the toe box. Now, that's a tough decision for True because they're never going to get it 100% right. People are going to complain or people are going to want something else. For me, I wanted that extra room in the toe, and I know I want the extra room in the toe, so I would have preferred them to make the skate a little bit bigger versus just taking out one of these pieces of foam paddings. Other people probably might not know what they want, to be totally honest. So they're trying to mitigate building a skate that's too big for them by just taking out that piece of foam. So that's kind of annoying because I could still feel my toes when I took it out, and it was kind of frustrating in that sense. But onto this toe plastic piece. This is, so when True actually tells you to do, like to adjust the fitting on these when people are saying they're too small to take this out, they tell people to do it behind, like away from the customer. And I believe that's for one of two reasons. One, these look unbelievably cheap. You can see all the glue. This is not just glue. I'm pretty sure this is plastic, because when I took these out, it peeled a huge, like a big piece of plastic out from the actual inner boot, and I had to yank it. So I think it was on this side, like right here, and I had to yank, and I could feel it come out because it was kind of left over in the manufacturing process. And again, that's where their kind of fit and finish comes down. And fit and finish, I'll have to say, is because people mentioned it in my previous review for the goalie skates. Fit and finish means like how the product comes together from the factory. It's a manufacturing term, and it's not how it fits your foot. Fit and finish is how all the pieces fit together and how the overall finish of the skate is. So that's what I mean by when I say that. Like this is super cheap looking, obviously. I mean, it does its job, but the extra plastic on it that came off with it is really disheartening. And you're $1,000 skate and you're peeling out pieces like that. Like obviously a customer wouldn't want to see that, and they wouldn't want to see you just taking out a piece of foam out of the toe and, oh yeah, your skates are adjusted to fit, and they fit. So that's, I assume that's why they do that. I get why they say that. I wouldn't. If I was selling these skates to someone and adjusting them, I would show them straight up, because if they want to put it back, I would show them how to do it. That's about it. A lot of people, one other thing is, so a lot of people talk about, and I've talked about it before, like the epoxy or glue that's kind of left over in the skate. So pretty sure this is epoxy. This part is glued on, it's not sewn on. This piece probably here is epoxy. This is at least smooth all the way through. You can feel like where some weave is joined, but it's pretty smooth, and it looks like it does have an outer coat or overcoat or whatever. These ones, the epoxy bunches are definitely minimized, so they definitely did a better job there. Now, I don't know if this has an outer coat or not, and the reason being, you can see like indents in the carbon. Now, I put the poster of this on my Instagram, so if it doesn't show up here, I apologize, but I'll link that in the description below. So you can kind of see the flakes. I can stick my nail in there. Hopefully this is showing up on camera. I think like some of that fiber is flaking already. And I don't know how many layers this is, and I don't know if this outer layer is just pure cosmetic and doesn't really matter anyways. But that's kind of, again, disheartening, where this is a brand new skate and you can see the fiber flakes like flaking off again. I kind of wish there was a like epoxy, another coat on top of it to make it a little bit more smooth. It's me again, kind of nitpicking, but when I talk about gear and when I'm critical of gear, I'm talking about where I think companies can improve in things. And I feel like this is one of the spots True can really improve on. They do a great fitting skate, supposedly a great performing skate from what everyone has said. I have no issues with my goalie skates. I love them. They're very comfortable. I haven't used these yet, so I can't talk about it. But there's a few things where True could really change to really kind of bump them up to the next level and make them like better than everyone else. And I feel like they're hesitant to do so, and it's kind of disappointing, and stuff like this is kind of disappointing, but I understand the reason why. So when I'm talking about this, don't take it as me saying this is like total trash. It's me saying like where I think improvements can be and where they can come from. And criticism isn't always a bad thing. You can always learn from it and get better from things. So yeah. But a lot of people ask me, I guess, one more thing, if they should buy true skates or something else. My thing is, if you fit in a retail skate, go for it. The retail skates are good. They work. If you need a custom skate, then True is a very good option, especially for molding. I go with True. I use the old ones, and these were cheaper than going full custom Bauer or CCM. So I went with True, and here I am. But I always have issue with retail skates. I don't fit depth for goalie skates, and this was the only cowlingless goalie skate that would fit me at the time. Tacks are now out. Well, tacks still aren't cowlingless, but you can get custom tacks that are, these are, like I have issues with AS1s that are uncomfortable. So hopefully these will fix that too, because I need a little bit more width and depth. So hopefully this will fix that, and it's why I bought them in the first place. So thank you very much for this very long video, but hopefully I'll give you an idea of the new generation 2 or whatever these are, 2019 True skates. Full review will come down in the line once I can actually use them. If you have any questions, let me know in this below. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, like this video, subscribe to me on YouTube, hit the bell button so you get notified of new videos. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Helps me get gear like this. Well, this wasn't sent to me, but helps me get gear so I can do reviews and talk about it and make content and stuff like that. So thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.